here in the luxurious offices of the Temple team at Keller Williams Realty. We talk about them all the time on our show and on our podcasts and everything. And I was able to book an interview with basically the superstar of real estate, but she couldn't make it. So we have Kent Temple here of the Temple team. His wife is the superstar, Pam. And she's over there not in front of the camera right now because she didn't put on any makeup today. She's got curlers in her hair and she's still in her nightgown.
She's judging us right now.
Yeah.
100%.
Right, so here's the thing. I got to thinking the other day about how little I know. And that could be about this real estate stuff or anything else, about how little I know. But mainly, we have always bought houses with you guys and sold our houses through y'all. And I never really know how it works. So I thought that it would be an opportunity because you teach all these seminars to people all over the world about real estate. So just if you could focus on if somebody's buying a house for the first time, whether they're, let's picture them being young and they got their first, grown-up job and they're ready to buy a house. What do they need to know?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues right now is, when you and I, because we're close to the same age. I think you used to babysit me. But anyway, we're close to the same age. When we bought our first house, I'm assuming it's about the same time, the average age of a first-time home buyer was 28 years old. Mm-hmm. And I was way ahead of that. And I think you probably were too when you bought that first one. The average age last year was 38 years old for a first-time home buyer. Oh. There's some predictions that it could be over 40 this year. So the economics have changed. But the problem is exactly what you're talking about. I think that number would come way down if people would educate themselves on what they need to do. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest mistakes people made is say, I'm going to buy a house. And they don't have any idea what they can afford. And then they'll call a realtor, and realtors as a whole were real bad about getting that phone call when somebody says, I want to see 123 Main Street. They'll drop everything they're doing. They'll go like, hey, kids, y'all just stay here on the couch and don't move because, daddy got to go show a house kind of deal. And they'll just run out. You could be showing something to somebody that couldn't afford, to buy a candy bar, let alone a house.
One of the first houses that we bought was we looked at when we were looking to buy was a house in the neighborhood that's right next to the neighborhood we used to be neighbors in. What I mean? So, and it was a for sale by owner. Mm-hmm. And I went in there to look without Jody, and the lady actually stopped me as I'm coming in the house and said, "Can you afford this house? Like before I waste my time showing you this, can you afford this house?" And then I stopped. I said, well, does it look like I can't afford the house? She goes, no, I just have to ask. But then I looked at myself and I thought, it looks like I can't afford the house, so I don't blame her. So you're talking about going in and wasting time of everybody.
And we don't make assumptions, though.
Oh,
Like right now, you could afford a single wide the way you're dressed.
Yeah.
But I happen to know your finances, and I know you could afford a double wide. To say that's an example of don't make assumptions, right?
Yeah, and is that strictly because I'm not wearing pants under the table?
If the fire alarm goes off, stop recording before he jumps up. That's all I know. But so back to it, that would be the first step is when you talk to a realty professional, be sure that they are pointing you toward a great mortgage professional. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's for us. I would never want to show a house to anybody that didn't know even what they could afford because we could just be completely wasting our time. And by the way, if I came to you, if I said, hey, let's talk through your finances because I'm not a mortgage professional, mm-hmm. I would tell you could afford more house than you can because I wouldn't ask all the right questions. Yeah. And then you find out little things. I mean, it's people don't think about when you're talking about debts. People forget about student loan debt, which by the way is a huge problem mm-hmm. right now as that's coming back in the mortgage. People forget about medical debt, things like that. And so that's why each of us should be professionals. Like mm-hmm. for example, you came in and you did this great setup today. We would have never recorded today if it was up to me to set up the equipment. This wouldn't have happened, but mm-hmm. you know what you're doing. Well, when it comes to buying a house, you should work with professionals that know what they're doing. It'll just save you massive amounts of time.
So probably be best to go to the mortgage professional first then, before you even start looking at what kind of house you could get.
You can do that. I'm going to tell you the problem with that is that how do you know they're a mortgage professional? So if you know a great mortgage person, go to them first. If you know a great realty professional, go to them first. Each one of them then will have other professionals they will push you towards.
Yeah.
So if you don't know somebody, come to me. Let me point you in the right direction. For example, and if there's any bankers listening to this, I apologize, but a lot of people go to their bank for their mortgage.
Yeah.
Typically, that is not going to be the best deal for you as a homeowner. They can't be as competitive as brokerage companies. But we all know a banker, so we think go there first. Now, if I'm buying a car, I'm going to go to my bank first. If I need any kind of other loan besides a mortgage, man, I go, in fact, that's my bank right there across the street. I'll walk over there if I need money and go. But for a house, that's not always the best way to go.
Well, I was born and raised in rural Louisiana, so I don't believe in banks.
Still in mason jars?
Just like Lucius Clay in that song,
Legend of the Woolly Swamp.
That's right.
I can still hear that old man laughing at night sometimes.
Good. Yeah. So
See, I told you we're the same age.
Same age and same Southern.
Pretty much.
So, what about interest rates and stuff like that? How does that work? Like when you say, "Oh, the Fed lowered the interest rates" and that sort of thing.
So, the Fed rate is the rate that people set for the cost. Actually, what the Fed rate is, and the vast majority of people don't know this. The Fed is the rate that is set for how much banks charge each other to borrow money overnight.
Okay.
Just overnight. Now, the Fed rate influences all cost of money, but we only talk about mortgage rates for the most part. But if the Fed rate is higher, auto loans are higher. If the Fed rate's higher, small business loans are higher. Everything is higher, but we talk about mortgage rates. So the Fed has that influence on them. The higher the Fed rate is, the higher mortgage rates tend to be. At the end of the day, I don't get too caught up on what the interest rate is, and here's why. I look at what I call affordability. And affordability is simply how much a house is going to cost you, principal plus interest.
Yeah.
Right now, houses are not real affordable. Now, historically, they're a little high. What we've experienced over the past decade, they're a lot high. Right now, affordability is at about 33%, which means for the average person that has a mortgage, they're going to spend 33% of their income on their principal and interest.
Well.
And that's not great because we stayed for a while. They were like 17, 18, 19. 27 is historical average. It's a little bit high. So you just have to look at both of those. For me today, interest rates are higher than we've been used to recently. Historically, they're fine.
Yeah.
Prices have flattened out. Prices eventually are going to go up. If I were in the market right now, I would be looking to buy a house right now because prices have gotten flat, and then I can refinance. And you can't go buy that house in a year or 2 years because that house is gone.
Yeah.
But you can always change that interest rate when it's favorable to you. And that's why I don't look too much at interest. I look at payment. What's my payment going to be? What can I afford? Because you can always change that up.
Yeah, because, when you're buying a car, people will tell you, hey, don't go by the monthly payment. You got to go by, that. So it's a little bit different with real estate.
Well, here's the thing. The difference in a car and a house is there's a couple. One's appreciation.
Oh, yeah.
You lost money on that car when you drove it off the lot.
Yeah. I even know that one.
Yeah, and with the house. But the other thing, there's just, somebody asked me the other day, they said, so we were talking about the stock market. And, historically the stock market does really well. Historically real estate does really well. And somebody said, okay, Kent, you're looking at it right now, what's the better investment, a house or the stock market? And I thought for a second and I actually said, in some ways I would say they're pretty even. Here's why I would take real estate over the stock market is, one, there are so many tax advantages to real estate that you have that long-term makes it a better investment. The other thing is I cannot sleep under my stock portfolio.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the perfect example. The average net worth of a renter is $10,000. The average net worth of a homeowner today is $440,000. Owning a home is the greatest forced savings account that's ever been created.
Okay. Well, cool. All right, so we're going to take a break, and then I have some more very elementary questions to ask Kent of the Temple team. So hang on.
The TJ and Jody's House podcast is sponsored by Sweet Dreams Furniture and Mattress. Family owned and operated, and we just love the entire team over there. They've got beautiful furniture and truly luxurious mattresses. Visit them in person or online at tjriggins.com/mattress.
So Eric Javits is about to sell out of this palm away visor I've been wearing all summer. And guess what? It's on sale right now. So do yourself a favor and go to tjriggins.com/deals. Code TJ for an extra 20% off. You're going to love this hat. It's a white and taupe chevron, or you can get the black and taupe colorway. You're going to love it. It's palm away visor, and it's going to protect your skin all summer, and you're going to look so chic. So go to tjriggins.com/deals. Code TJ for 20% off.
Hey, it's TJ. My wife Jody and I would never even think of buying or selling a house without using the Temple Team. We've used the Temple Team at Keller Williams Realty for years, and you should too. They are experts, and you are going to love them. Just go to tjriggins.com/Temple Team.
Pet hair will cause havoc on your washing machine and your clothes. Trust me, I know. My dog Riley is a pretty hairy boy. And I just found this product called the Pet Hair Dissolver, which uses an enzymatic formula to dissolve the pet hair that clogs up in your washing machine. It's easy. You just throw this little packet into your washing machine, top loader or front loader, doesn't matter. And then you run a hot water cycle, and then boom, the pet hair is gone. I put up the link on our deals page at tjriggins.com/deals. It's just a lifesaver for pet owners. tjriggins.com/deals.
Okay, back here with Kent Temple of the Temple Team at Keller Williams Realty. And
Wow, that sounded like
I know,
professional
it's a pretty
DJ
big
right
deal.
there. That's the DJ voice. Mhm.
yeah, right outside on the side of the building, Keller Williams Realty. So he's the expert the closest one we could find to tell us about what people should look for when buying a house, mainly if they're a first-time home buyer. And what do you think the biggest mistake that a first-time home buyer or any home buyer in this situation would make that gets them in trouble, like upside down or stuff like that?
So a lot of times you don't take the big picture into effect. In other words, you're thinking, you get too focused on maybe just what the interest rate is, or maybe what just the cost of the house is. And there's just a lot of factors that go into it in terms of, like, what's the age of the house? How much? Because a lot of times we used to call it, back when we moved into the neighborhood that we lived in for a long time, and we would call it house poor. And we saw a lot of people that were house poor. Like, they'd buy this big house, and what you didn't know is that only the first floor had any furniture.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford the upstairs furniture. And you just don't ever want to be house poor. So what happens is you go and you'll talk to somebody, and they'll say, oh, well, you can buy a $500,000 house. Well, immediately they start looking at $525,000 houses, and it's easy to become house poor. And then, man, if you have a problem, then what do you do? Now, and people say, well, you know what? Then what? I'll just buy new construction, and which is fine. New construction is great, but things happen in new construction houses too. But the other thing that happens is life. And if you go buy new construction thinking, well, I'm golden because people always think they're going to live in their house longer than they do.
Yeah.
You go buy new construction, a year later you get transferred. Now you've got a house that you've got to compete with other new construction. Now, I don't care what new versus you lived in a year.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. So all of a sudden you can't get your money back out. So it's just things like that you don't think about. If somebody tells you can pay $500 for a house, I probably would try not to do that. Let's have that buffer zone in there that we need. But people, like I say, people think they're going to live there longer, and they think they're going to make more money than they do in the future a lot of times. And it doesn't always happen.
Well, and then there you have it right there. One of the reasons that you should use the Temple Team is because if somebody tells you that you can pay $500,000 for a house, they're not going to automatically say, all right, we got them for at least $500,000. They're gonna advise you to do what's best for you, and I think that's great. So you hear young people say now, we can't live the American dream like our parents and grandparents did. We don't have that situation the same way. The country's not like it was, and we have to have roommates into our 30s and that sort of thing. Do you find that to be the situation a lot of times?
So maybe the dreams just changed a little bit. I agree. There's a lot of people maybe in their 20s right now that are thinking, I've got to have roommates to make it.
Yeah.
So why don't you be the one to go buy the house and rent it to them? I mean, if you got 3 roommates, you're paying somebody's mortgage. Well, why not the 3 of you? Why don't you pay your own mortgage? I just think people aren't thinking outside the box to get to where they need to be. Yeah, okay, the American dream's changed a little bit. I get prices have definitely gone up. At the end of the day, historically, 65 to 67% of the population owns their own house. When we had the big meltdown in 2009, we got all the way up to 69%. It was not that much higher, but that's what tipped us over to listen to the. Well, now we're at 63% right now. We're not that far off. There's not that many people that want to buy a house that haven't, like the media wants you to think. But yeah, if you want, and again, if you want to build wealth for the long term and nobody's going to die and leave it to you, I'm just saying owning real estate, whether it's your primary or your investment, is a big deal. You know, right now, 36% of the people in this country don't have a mortgage. They own their house outright. I didn't realize that I disliked 36% of the people until 36. Wow. About another 36% have at least 50% equity in their current house. Real estate is a phenomenal investment. Why are you not looking to leverage that money into owning more real estate for those kids that are saying, well, I can't afford to buy anything? Okay, great. Then the you three get together and y'all pay my mortgage then, since you don't want to pay your own. Yeah.
Now, my brother-in-law in Louisiana, he got into buying these houses that were, you know, they needed to be redone and that sort of thing, and they're low-income houses. He fixed them up, and then he rents them. And he just, you know, he'll get several in a neighborhood and then just ride door to door picking up his rent every month.
Yeah, and
you know, and it's been a great investment.
He's built a portfolio of that. And I guarantee you, if you look over time, real estate always goes up in value. Very seldom does it go down at all. But when it does, and there are times when it does, it always goes right back up. And that's what makes it such a great investment for that long-term play. That's probably going to be his retirement. He'll be retired and riding around in his pickup truck, picking up rent checks. Yeah. I got a buddy that owns several houses. Is in all his leases, he writes in that on the first Monday of every month, he is allowed to come in the house and change the air filters. Well, that's his way to check on his investment. Yeah. He actually doesn't change the air filters every month because they don't need it. But that's his chance to walk through. And he said, well, I approved 1 dog. Why is there 7 dogs in this house? Right. Or look at the condition of this. That's his way. And again, he's figured out a way. Right now, he's got 7 people paying 7 mortgages for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. As a matter of fact, I'm fired up now. I'm about to go buy that car wash next door when I leave here.
There's a lot of car washes around.
I'm about to buy that and then a couple of those vape shops. You know, we got plenty of those here in Mooresville.
Granny vape shops. Yeah. We have car washes and vape shops and banks. We have every bank known to man is within 1 mile of where we're sitting right now.
And don't we have a lot of dry cleaners too? And thank goodness we have a lot of Mexican restaurants because I love Mexican food. That's awesome.
Time of death of this. Okay, So when did they get completely off subject? That was it.
I mean, that's the way we do. We went on your podcast the other day. I don't think we talked about anything we were supposed to talk about. Well, KT, your son, kept us a little bit on track. But
it helps when you don't actually have an agenda. It's more fun just to to talk.
And but I've actually never known of you not to have an agenda. For whatever
or not be able to talk. Yeah. If I'm ever in stunned silence, something definitely happened.
Yeah. So we're in one of the offices here in the Temple Team building, and his wife Pam, her desk is right there, and there's another desk sitting right beside her. And you walked out a minute ago, and I said, "Y'all don't share an office, do you?"
No.
And she goes, "No, his office is down there." I said,
"Yeah, mine's over there."
Because if Jody and I shared an office, she'd be killing me. And we wouldn't kill each other.
Well,
She'd kill me.
Look at the decorations. That looks like Pam stuff. There's a picture of Jordan. If I'm in my office behind us, you'd see Jordan. Then you'd know we were in. Of course, also though, my office is like 1/4 the size of Pam's office. That's also another hint as to whose office we're in.
She didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
Yes, she did. She said his is the small office down the hall.
I tell people that I'm just the pretty face of the Temple Team because she won't ever get on camera.
I know what you mean because I'm the pretty face of my family.
That's it.
All right. So what else do you think is imperative for somebody to know, or have you covered it all?
Well, the time is now. It's the old Chinese proverb: when's the best time to plant a tree? Mm-hmm. It was 20 years ago, kind of deal. But I don't want you don't live with regret. But if you want to build your future, home ownership is it. And I remember for Pam and I, it was Pam's dad that really told us that if you want to do this, that's one of the first things that you want to do is you want to invest in real estate. And it helps if you can, live in it. That's the first thing. And now, by the way, we were house poor when we bought that. We bought our first condo, and I think we paid $92,000 for it. And yet we were house poor. So that tells you. So all you kids out there complaining you can't afford a house. Yeah, that's all we could afford was $92,000.
Yeah. Well, I'm grass poor in the house we're in now. The grass has been terrible since we built it, and I can't get it to do right. I'm not. Believe it or not, I'm not a work outside kind of guy.
I'm shocked that yeah.
So
if you have product in your shower, then you're probably not a work outside guy. So
and I don't even have hair, and I have
product
in my shower. So.
I get it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think your hair looks great.
But that is great though. That you tell people that it's the investment that you don't think about at the time you're looking for a place to live, but you should think of it as an investment.
Again, I can look at my net worth, and I know where a lot of it's tied up. That'd be a great question, by the way, if you're trying to pick a realtor. Mm-hmm. So if you're in real estate, we actually have legal insider trading. Because if you worked at Apple and you called me and you go, hey, this is going to happen tomorrow, go buy some Apple stock, me and you both going to be wearing orange pretty soon, right? I could call you and go, hey, man, I'm getting ready to list a house tomorrow. This is a phenomenal deal. You need to check this one out. Legal insider trading. Yet only about 6% of realtors own investment property. Yeah. Now, you know everything's going to happen. You know the power of it. Only 6%. That might be if you're trying to figure out if somebody's a decent realtor, ask them if they own investment property or not. Because not many of them do, despite the fact that they know everything ahead of time.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
It'd be like asking you, are you really... do you own your own microphone? See, and you say yes, and I know you're good at it.
Yeah. Well,
you actually own two of them because I don't want on mine.
I rented these.
Like a tux.
Yeah. I'm paying somebody else's microphone mortgage. All right. Well, thank you. I know you're busy, and this isn't just us, having a good time getting together. I mean, I think it's beneficial for people to see. And the more stuff you can hear from honest people about things that you could be using to benefit your life, I think it's the best. So,
thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.